Hello and welcome back to Suspend Animation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time again for Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it's the Amazon Prime series, new series actually, Truth Seekers, the one with Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. You never heard of this movie, Finobi? They've been advertising it all over the place. I even talked about it a couple of times myself. Yeah, before we get started here, let me take care of some business thing and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video at the very end here. Basically, what YouTube does, takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching, tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. If you like what you see there, hit the subscribe button down below there. If you want to know when I'll be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. And also I have all the links to my social media. So Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, no tier except on that Patreon because I'm waiting until I hit 1,000 subs. If you give me money, I want to give you something in return. That's the reason why I'm doing that. Also, I have the links to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page. And for those of you who still have Facebook, a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. So the spoiler-free version of this to begin with. So what is this thing about? What is Truth Seekers about? It's about a guy, an engineer in Great Britain who is also a paranormal investigator, or like a part-time paranormal investigator. He and um, his new partner, I should say, go out and as they're going on jobs to fix people's Wi-Fi and stuff like that, they're also bumping into paranormal stuff that's going on, which Gus, who is Nick Frost's character, uh, of course, uses for his YouTube channel. Um, it's very dry British wit, of course. If you've watched, any British TV, it's got that mix of horror comedy going on. So whatever the serious situation is, there's some comedy that's involved in it as well. So Raymond says the show resonated with me as a consumer because I often go down that creepy YouTube rabbit hole, but I also imagine that it did for you because you're a content creator. Um, so for me, my British comedy stuff isn't. I don't like this kind of comedy for some reason. I don't know what it is. Uh, I like Nick Frost, I like Simon Pegg, they're okay and everything, but I'm not a big fan of the Cornetto, trilogy and all that stuff. Shaun of the Dead, yes, I'll watch it, but the other movies like Hot Fuzz and all that stuff don't do it for me, quite honestly. So this one, what did do it for me is that Malcolm McDowell is in it. He plays Nick Frost's dad, which uh, I'll get into more stuff in the spoiler portion of this. And like I said, all these events that they're going to all tie together eventually and lead to a bigger picture. Um, that's about all I can say without giving stuff away. So yeah, they are telecommunications engineers trying to fix people's Wi-Fi and getting involved in paranormal activities at the same time. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave that off. I love Malcolm McDowell. Malcolm McDowell, how he acts now in the last, I would say, decade, actually the last 20 years or so. He's been playing a lot more carefree characters, a lot more lovable assholes, if you will. And he doesn't disappoint in this either. He actually kind of reins this one in a little bit. He was in a TNT series with Mark Paul Gosselaar and Breckenridge about lawyers, and he was the head of the firm. And I loved him in that show because you never knew what he was going to do. And he was just out there, and it was hilarious. He starts off that way in this, but doesn't. Yeah, he kind of reins it in a little bit. Um, but yeah, so there are some twists and turns in this. I'm not going to give that away until I get to the spoiler version. But yeah, is it worth your time? Yeah, it's worth your time. It's if you enjoy this kind of British humor, like the Simon Pegg, Nick Frost movies that have been, out there. This is more of the same. It's just a little slower, not as much action to it because, of course, they're older. So Simon Pegg isn't in it as much as Nick Frost. Nick Frost, of course, is the main character, and the way they make it look is like Simon Pegg is in this all the time, but no, he's just in it, every now and then, brief asides. So there you go. With that said, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode or the series, I guess you could say. If you have not watched it, if you haven't finished it or anything like that, step away. Go and watch it. Go and finish it. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. All right. Going once, going twice. Sold. Ooh, man. That's what happens when you have lamps sitting off on the side here. I've got like my little that one right there. So yeah. That's what I just hit with the paddle as I was going through there. So spoiler alert on this. The main character, so Gus, of course, his partner Elton John. At first, I was kind of wondering where they were going with this whole Elton John thing, and you find out that he is the haunted kid that Gus has the white sheets or the white sheet on because white sheets is the supremacist paper, whereas white sheet is the paranormal magazine. That was actually pretty funny too. The white sheet versus white sheets, and then the whole Elton John, and you find out his real name was actually Lionel Richie, and I'll give them this to wait until like the fifth episode, out of 10 episodes, to do that, to do the Lionel Richie joke. And then right afterwards, as soon as he goes, Lionel Richie, really? And he's like, yes, Lionel Richie, hello. And then when he said hello, that's when I fucking lost it because that was a nice little, just a little add on to it. I mean, at first it wasn't really funny, but then just the adding of that hello is where it kind of pushed it over for me. You kind of knew what was going to happen with the girl as well, Astrid, her becoming that she's a ghost all this time with them. You got all these hints to it as well. I did kind of find Helen, Elton's sister, to be a little bit annoying at times. And it wasn't until she got paired up with Malcolm McDowell that I was like, okay, now this works, because her character was just getting really kind of annoying, needy, and just really fucking like, why is this character here kind of thing. And it wasn't until you actually pair her up with Malcolm McDowell that you're like, okay, this actually works a lot better. And they're playing off of, she is an agoraphobic at this point, and Malcolm McDowell's character Richard is, of course, he's at home most of the time, so inbound, and he doesn't walk. He can't get upstairs. Like one of the in the very first episode, he has a chair that goes up and down the stairs. It's one of those electric chairs, and he kind of sneaks up on Nick Frost's character there. He's like, Jesus Christ. He goes, will you just go upstairs? And Malcolm McDowell gets in the chair and he goes, you can't control me. And Nick Frost hits the remote and it starts sending the chair up up the stairs really slowly. He's like, and he's like yelling all the way up the stairs, which I thought was kind of funny. It was one of those things that Malcolm McDowell does in the roles that he's been doing the last 20 years or so. So yeah, that was actually kind of funny. And the whole Dr. Toynbee threat wasn't really a threat. I really would have rather have seen a little bit more about what was going on with Jojo 74's character, and then of course Dave, who is Gus's boss, who they both turn out to be aliens of the same race, I guess it is. And Jojo 74 is of course working on misinformation, I guess, whereas Dave is working on trying to help people. and we don't know exactly why. We just find this out at the very end of the series, but I really wish they had put a little bit more of that sooner in there, so we got more of a reason of why. And also what I found kind so there's an old book, an old sci-fi book called Waiting for the Galactic Bus. I can't remember who wrote it at the moment. And essentially what it is that there are two aliens that they're immortal. They end up they're on a ship on an expedition and they get left behind on uh primeval Earth, if you will. And they end up evolving Earth into, human beings and all this stuff. One becomes God, one becomes the devil, if you will. And the book goes throughout all of human history, evolution and all this stuff about what was going wrong. And that's kind of what I was getting the feel of with Simon Pegg's character in JoJo 74, is having this whole uh thing where they were both, one was God and one was the devil, and they're both trying to influence human beings to do whatever the right thing, and also try to evolve them at the same time so they can get the fuck off the planet. Essentially, is what it is. Uh, Raymond says that they hint that they were Adam and Eve in this show. They didn't, which is it would make it even more interesting if that was the case. But yeah, that wasn't what I got out of it. I just got that they were aliens and that they were just kind of there, fucking around. So Raymond says, "Oh yeah, I love Toynbee. He was part of the Mighty Boosh. If you ever heard. Oh yeah, yeah, I know who the Mighty Boosh are." Um, so yeah, Toynbee's character of trying to cross over to another dimension by sacrificing everybody, and he was measuring out souls to find out how much it would take to make him cross over into this other dimension and live forever. It is kind of an evil villain, super villain kind of plot. But for some reason, the guy playing Toynbee just didn't exude it, I guess you could say, for me. It's Julian Barrett is his name. And I never really considered him a threat. I kind of figured he was going to, die fairly quickly anyway, especially when he said that, he had to slit his own throat as part of the ritual in order to cross over to the other dimension. I'm like, yeah, he's going to slice his own throat. Everything's going to be thwarted, and he's going to die by his own hand. You kind of figured out what was going to happen there. So, yeah. And then also, Helen kind of got over that agoraphobia a little bit too quickly, too. That was the other thing. And supposedly, since a teenager, she was not going outside, and now all of a sudden, she meets these people, and after one trip to a convention, she is like driving over to Richard's house to go and do YouTube videos and all this stuff. I did find that whole thing about her having a makeup tutorial YouTube video and getting thousands of viewers, whereas Gus's paranormal activity YouTube channel only has maybe a couple of hundred. I know that feeling. You kind of look at it and you're like, why the fuck do these people have so many viewers and I only have this? And yes, it is content and stuff like that and what people are interested in, things like that. And she actually helps him. Helen actually helps Gus out, and he ends up getting thousands of subscribers. So yeah, maybe I can get her to come over and help me with that too. But that was pretty damn funny as well. I thought it was good. So going back to your question, Raymond, about but I also imagine that as you said, this show resonated with me as a consumer because I often go down that creepy YouTube rabbit hole. But I also imagine that it did for you because of you're a content creator. I don't go down the YouTube rabbit hole. Quite honestly, I'm busy. I hate to say it, I really am, and I have news feeds that are funneled to my phone. So I prefer actually looking at stuff in print where I can scan it quickly and get what I need, and then do it that way. Video content annoys the shit out of me sometimes because I can never find the point of what's going on. And most of the time, a lot of video content doesn't have a point. They say they do, and then they don't. They actually, like, oh, Boba Fett's gonna marry Princess Leia, and of course, it's a bombastic statement. And then, of course, you watch that entire fucking 50-minute long video, and there's nothing to support that whatsoever. It's just there to blow smoke up your ass and get you to watch the video. So, yeah, you know. So yeah, I like, and honestly, articles do the same thing. There's a lot of disreputable articles that are out there. We got this covered, and Cosmic News. So those are the ones that I really, you know, I have a problem with. That's why I get my stuff more news feed than I do video. I have been watching. I'll say this much on YouTube. Um, Adam Savage, his builds that he's been doing. I've been watching some of those. And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt has been doing some interviews and stuff like that. He did one with John Lithgow, who just wrote a book. And yeah, that was actually really sweet, that them getting together, over Zoom and talking about working together and all that stuff, and on Third Rock from the Sun. So every now and then stuff like that, will grab me. But yeah, it's very few and far in between for me. So yeah, so for me, it was more of the subscribers and how to get subscribers, and uh, that kind of thing, that I felt a kinship with Gus on that, versus how Helen was helping him out and everything. So yes, I know if I did some more editing and stuff like that, but that would mean I would need to clone another person in order to stay here and do editing full time, and yeah, just not going to happen. I got a full time job. Doesn't work that way. I would love to have that happen, but not in the cards. Maybe if I hit the lotto, the $500 million lotto, something like that. But yeah, is it worth your time then? Yes, it is worth your time. That's what my rambling is getting to. Go and take a look at it. It's fun. There's really not a lot of stuff on right now that's new, so this is something that you can watch. I mean, I've been throwing out throwbacks as well as new stuff. That's what Is It Worth My Time is all about. Is just finding those is it worth watching that old TV show, or that new movie, or that new TV show, or that old TV show, or is it not? And again, this is all my own opinion on this. Your mileage may vary depending on your usage. You may go, well, that fucker has no taste whatsoever. And you might be right. But, you know, again, my opinion. It's not wrong. Neither is yours. So it all depends on what you like. Sorry, the dog's she's giving me the stink eye. Because, yeah, earlier she wanted a TREAT, and I wouldn't give it to her. Mhm. And yes, I have to spell it out because she hasn't learned how to spell as of yet. I don't think, anyway. Raymond says, though it was somewhat predictable, I think the premise was pretty original, right? Kind of. I mean, I got a little flash of like Ghost Beaters from Ash versus Evil Dead. And I'm trying to think what else. And also Supernatural as well. Supernatural has made fun of those things as well. But having him be a Wi-Fi repairman, sure. And then also having the Wi-Fi being blocked specifically by a spirit all over the bottom half of Great Britain, and then having an alien who's running a so that part is actually all original, the way that everything comes together, I guess you could say. And that is two people smoking a hell of a lot of weed and knowing each other, over a couple of decades, and just say, well, what if we do this? Or what if we do that? That sounds like a good idea, man. I think we should write that down. That's pretty much what that is. So, yeah. Been there, done that. Um, don't know where the shirt is because the shirt disappeared. But yeah, it does happen. So yes, Raymond, I would say yes, it is an original idea, but it's a lot of different premises that have already come before it, just mushed together. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there was weed involved, Penn. There had to have been. So, so with that said, what else do I have going on this week? Well, tomorrow is episode 2 of The Mandalorian. That's right, the fucking Mandalorian is back. And that first episode, wow, what a doozy that was. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who don't know, the guy who played the Weequay, who is behind the bar, was WD. Shit, I can't remember his name now. He was the barman in Deadwood, who played along with Timothy Oliphant's character. So it was a Deadwood reunion on Star Wars. That was a Deadwood reunion, right? Yes, exactly. As Penn says, watch the recap video. Look for in the archives for all the great content. I've covered a lot of different things. I have over 500 videos now in the archives. Take a look at the playlist. I have everything sorted out by playlists. Um, you can even do a search by word and stuff like that. See if I've covered something. If I haven't covered something, ask me about it. Um, thing is, I want to cover stuff that I'm going to be interested in. If it's stuff that I'm not going to be interested in, I probably won't cover it because I just don't want to shit on things for people. I don't like doing that, quite honestly. It's not fun for me. It's not fun for you guys as viewers. I don't know. Although some people like those hate watch channels and stuff like that. I'm just not into that kind of stuff. So yes. Thank you, Penn. It is very organized. And basically, I just do that right before the show. It's just I put everything in and everything's done. I try to anyway, so that everyone can find everything. So, continuing. So, tomorrow is The Mandalorian. Saturday is Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and any genre stuff you guys want to talk about, and we talk about it. Sunday is going to be the final episode of Hellstrom. I'm actually going to do the rest of the first season because well, one, interest has peaked on it, no one really cares about it, and two, my interest has peaked on it as well, and I really don't care about it either. So I'm just going to finish it off and let you guys know if it was worth it or not at the very end there. Monday I'll be off. Tuesday, actually, you know what? Monday I won't be off. Monday will be is it worth my time? Because Tuesday I'm going to have to be off because I have a homeowner association meeting. So yeah. And then Wednesday I'll be off as well. And then Thursday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? Yeah. Hey, Tony Hernandez. Yeah, everything's there. So if you like what you see, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. And then if you like that, hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to know when I'll be on live again next, hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule. It's there. And also all the links to my social media as well. So Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, and also the link to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. Thanks, Tony. Raymond K. Hessel says, well, Truth Seekers was set for October 30th, so minus 100 points from Gryffindor. Yeah. Yeah, they could have done it a little earlier. I see. This is what I don't like about the, dropping a season all at once is people binge it and then they forget about it and no one talks about it. And that was exactly what was happening with The Boys. And the reason why they moved it from, season 1 to season 2, dropping only the first 4 episodes and then doing episode by episode once a week. And that's actually what's going to happen with The Expanse when it drops on in December. Is they're going to show the first 3 episodes, if I'm not mistaken, and then do 1 episode a week until it ends there. which is a smart move. It actually gets more people watching. It gets people anticipating, wanting to see it. It also lets people catch up so that you don't have assholes on YouTube spoiling shit for you, things like that. And so you get a chance to actually watch it and savor it before you go and out in the world and see what other people think about it. Um, and basically just generates buzz about your show, and it lasts longer than just a week or two. Because I'll tell you right now, truth seekers, no one's really talking about it right now, and no one's probably going to talk about it. It's probably going to really die down next week, and then the week after, it's going to be gone from any kind of memory that people have, which is kind of sad because people work on this stuff. People put their blood, sweat, and tears into this stuff, and to have it just be a flash in the pan, be so consumable that people just devour it all at once, like, and then they're done with it. So yeah. Raymond says, I meant it as a comment on your organizational skills. Oh, sorry, man. I didn't get that. I'm kind of tired too. So yeah. Uh, yeah, my website did say that date. It did say October 30th. Raymond says, I agree, but for this show, it plays better as a long movie, so it's better to binge. Um, I don't know. I actually broke it up, to tell you the truth, over a couple of days. And so I would do like 2 or 3 episodes, and then 2 or 3 episodes, and 2 or 3 that's kind of how I was doing it. And I was having a bit better time with it than if I had just sat down and watched large chunks of it all the way through. And I think that was a better plan than just binge watching it. I For me, it didn't play like a big long movie. There's breaks in it. You can tell where the breaks are and where it needs to be. And I would have even been okay if they had released it in 3 episode a week chunks, and go, okay, here's this part one. Here's chapter one, here's chapter two, here's chapter three, and it's made up of like 3 episodes. I think that would be better than just kind of dropping it all at once. Amazon's trying to figure out how they want to do it right now so they get more viewers, so they stay ahead of Netflix. That's what their problem is. And they found it out with The Boys, because The Boys is the first Amazon series to surpass Netflix views because of what they did. Season 2, by the way, not season 1. Yeah. It's all about numbers and multi-million dollar deals of stuff that I have no clue of, or an inkling of, I should say. But all right. With that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the night. Thank you to everybody who joined me tonight in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you like what you see, again, like, share, and subscribe. Take a look at the video at the very end here if you're still on the fence about subscribing. Otherwise, I'm going to let you guys go for the night. Thank you. And don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up getting that little tiny nanobot stuck in your eye, and no one wants that. You don't want to be controlled like a rat. Just doesn't work right. Also, you just want to be sacrificed for some asshole to go to another dimension and live forever. Just doesn't work either. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow for The Mandalorian. Until then, stay safe, be well, and take care. Good night, everyone. Thanks.